Ah, the nature of a clock is curious, don't you think? It is a constant reminder of time slipping away, relentless, unforgiving. And yet, even the most intricate mechanisms can hide dark secrets. Allow me to recount one such case. It began on an evening much like any other. I was deep in thought when Watson entered the room, carrying a package wrapped in plain brown paper. "Holmes," he said, his tone hesitant. "This just arrived for you. No name, no address, only this note." He handed me a small folded piece of paper. The handwriting was precise, almost mechanical. It read, "Period. Fix me, or someone will die at the stroke of midnight." I opened the package with care. Inside was a pocket watch, its face cracked, its hands frozen at 11:58. The craftsmanship was exquisite, yet its condition betrayed violence, a deliberate attempt to break it, not merely wear and tear. "Watson, observe," I said, tilting the watch under the lamplight. "See the marks around the casing. Someone pried it open recently." Watson frowned. "Holmes, this feels ominous. Do you think this is a prank?" "Unlikely," I replied. "Whoever sent this knew exactly what they were doing. The watch is not merely a message. It is the message." I began to dismantle the watch, carefully removing its outer shell to examine the intricate gears within. Watson watched in silence, the tension in the room palpable. Inside, I found something unexpected, a small piece of parchment, folded and hidden among the gears. It bore a single word, written in the same mechanical hand as the note, "Period. Colton." "Colton," Watson repeated. "What could it mean?" "A name, perhaps," I said, placing the parchment aside. "Or a clue. Either way, it is significant. But look here, there is more." Beneath the parchment was a faint engraving, barely visible against the metal surface. I adjusted the lamplight, revealing a series of numbers etched into the base plate. 12 o'clock. "Holmes," Watson said, his voice low. "Do you think this is some kind of bomb?" "Not a bomb," I replied, though my mind raced with possibilities. "But it is certainly a device of intent." I reassembled the watch, noting that despite its damage, the internal mechanism could still function if repaired. The clock struck 11:30. The ticking of the room's mantelpiece clock seemed louder than usual, a steady drumbeat of time slipping away. I stared at the watch, the name, Colton, echoing in my mind. Then, the silence was broken by a knock at the door. Mrs. Hudson entered, her expression grave. "A man is here to see you, Mr. Holmes," she said. "He seems frightened." "Send him in," I said, standing. A man entered, his face pale, and his eyes darting nervously around the room, as though expecting something to leap from the shadows. Beads of sweat glistened on his forehead, and his trembling hands clutched a pocket watch identical to the one on my desk. "Mr. Holmes," he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. I received this, and the same note." He extended the watch toward me, its face cracked, its hands frozen at 11:58. As I took the watch, I noticed a small scratch on its casing, just beneath the crack. The scratch was deliberate, forming what appeared to be the faint outline of a symbol. I ran my thumb over the marking, my mind stirring with recognition. But I said nothing, merely staring at the symbol as if it held an answer I had not yet grasped. I turned to Watson, my expression grim. "This is no mere warning, Watson. It is a game, and the stakes are deadly." I glanced at the mantelpiece clock as it ticked closer to 11:59. "And at the stroke of midnight, Watson," I said, my voice low and deliberate, We will not be dealing with clocks. We will be dealing with lives. Now, dear viewers, the pieces are on the board. But what do they mean? Who is Colton? And what is the connection between these watches? Share your theories in the comments below, and join me for the conclusion in part 2. Until then, the clock is ticking.